What if I told you there was a retirement account that allows you to take out your investment gains completely tax-free? Well, that account exists and it's called a Roth IRA. In this video, I'll teach you how it works, the pros and the cons, and how to set one up step by step. So a Roth IRA is simply just a brokerage account that is tax advantaged. So if you think of a brokerage account, you can buy and sell stocks inside of it. Think of that like a vehicle that your passengers sit in. The passengers are just the things that you're putting inside of that account. Stocks, bonds, whatever your investment preference is. So this is funded by after-tax money, okay? So when you get your paycheck, you gross a certain amount and then you net a certain amount. So say you're netting $1,000, you can take that $1,000, throw it in a Roth IRA, no problem, and it won't be taxed again because you're already contributing with after-tax money, okay? Your net income. The nice thing about the Roth IRA is that there's no tax after age 59 and a half. So once you wait to 59 and a half years old, you can take out the entire amount if you want. It's completely tax-free and you're not gonna get taxed again because of this. You've already contributed to it with after-tax dollars. So the limits right now are $7,000 per year in 2024 or $8,000 in 2024 if you are 50 and older. So this comes out to be roughly $19 a day or $583 per month. And they are capped at a certain income limit, right? You can't just make millions of dollars per year and still be able to contribute to a Roth. You would then get into backdoor Roths and things like that, which we're not gonna touch on in this video. But those income limitations right now is if you're single, filing single, it's $146,000 prorated up to $161,000. And then if you're married or filing jointly, it's going to be $230,000 prorated up to $240,000. Okay, so let's get into a quick example of how this tax-free growth calculation actually works. So I'm gonna use our NerdWallet Roth IRA calculator. Let's say we're doing $7,000 per year that we mentioned, okay? We're under 50 years old. We're contributing the max amount that we can because we're financially savvy. So we're gonna do this from age 23 all the way to age 63. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna assume a 6% rate of return, okay? So again, we're maxing this out. We're doing this for 40 years and we're assuming a 6% rate of return. What the numbers actually come up with is actually going to be $1.15 million in our Roth versus $795,000 in a taxable. This actually comes out to be roughly $350,000 more than a taxable account because again, we're investing with after-tax money and we're inside that vehicle that allows this money to grow tax-free because it's already on our after-tax dollars. So the one thing I want to caveat here is that yes, we are doing $7,000 a year from 23 to 63. However, these income limits are most likely going to go up. I remember when I first started investing in a Roth, I think the income limit was like $5,000 a year or $5,500 a year, and those keep going up and up and higher and higher. So these limits will increase as time goes on. So you're most likely, if you're going to max out for 40 years, you're most likely going to end up with much more than 1.15 million. So the Roth IRA sounds great. You're drinking the Kool-Aid, you're on board. Not so fast. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons and just give this thing a fair shake before I actually show you how to set one up and what you can actually invest inside of it. So the nice thing that we touched on for some of the pros is that it does grow tax-free. Again, at age 59 and a half, you can take out the full amount without any tax implications. Number two, there's no early withdrawal penalty. So I want to touch on this just a little bit. So as long as your account is 5 years old, you can take out your contributions at any time, okay? So say it's 6 years old, say you've invested, I don't know, let's call it at $6,000 over 6 years. You can take out your contributions at any time, but what you can't touch are the gains. So say that $6,000 grew to, $7,500, you can take out the 6, you can't touch the 15, the 1,500. The other nice thing about the Roth IRA is that there's no required minimum distributions. So in a traditional IRA, you typically have to start taking distributions at a certain age. For 2024, that is 73 years old at the time of this recording. And again, with a Roth, you don't have to do that. You can sit on this thing, until you're 100 years old if you live to be that long, and you don't have to you're not required to take out any minimum distributions. So some of the cons, there's no upfront tax break. So unlike a 401k, for example, say you contribute to a 401k that reduces your taxable income for that year, you don't get that with a Roth. Remember, that tax is already coming out of your paycheck. You're making these contributions with after-tax dollars, so there's no upfront tax break. The tax break comes later down the road, which is why starting early is so important, because time is typically on your side when it comes to compound interest or compound returns. Number 2 is contribution limits. So again, you're limited to $7,000 a year under the age of 50, $8,000 a year if you're 50 and older. There's also income limits. Sorry, I couldn't fit the word income in the small space. So with the income limits, obviously we touched on this. If you want to get to those specific numbers, just rewind the video here. So again, you can't be making millions of dollars a year and contributing to a Roth. Government won't let you do that. There are ways around that, but that's outside the scope of this video. And then finally, we have a 10% early withdrawal penalty plus taxes on those earnings. So here's some cases where you can take out early withdrawals. You can take up to $10,000 out for your first home before 59 and a half years old, which is nice. You can take up to $5,000 in the year after the birth or adoption of your child. There's certain qualified educational expenses where you can take out early withdrawals. And then also there's certain unreimbursed medical expenses. So although this is in the cons category, there's still a lot of stuff that you can do with a Roth IRA before the age of 59 and a half to avoid those early withdrawal penalties and taxes on those earnings. Okay, so far in this video, we talked about the major overview of the Roth IRA. We've talked about the tax-free growth scenario based on that 6% rate of return. And then we talked about some of the pros and cons. I actually want to take you to my computer, share my screen, and show you how to open up a Roth IRA. In this example, I'm just going to be using Charles Schwab. It's a familiar name, and my Roth IRA actually exists with Charles Schwab. But again, you can use any major brokerage house. You can use Fidelity, M1 Finance, Robinhood. It doesn't matter. A lot of these big brokerages, they offer Roths anyway. But what you want to look for specifically is their section called retirement accounts or IRAs. Remember, an IRA just stands for individual retirement account. So there are multiple types of IRAs. So if I click open an account here, you can see our most popular accounts. Besides the individual and joint brokerage, which are taxable accounts, they have Roth, they have traditional, they have rollover, you have SEP IRAs, you have a million different IRAs. But again, what you want to look for the sake of this video is opening up a Roth. So once I click on that, typically what they're going to walk you through is, hey, let's open your Roth. You know, what can you do with it? What are the costs of having it open? What do you need to actually open this thing? Typically, you're going to need a social security number or some sort of identification. That's the reason for that is because of KYC, know your customer. Most financial institutions require that. So if I click on get started here, the reason I'm so zoomed in is just so you can see it pretty easily. But these are typically the steps. You're going to give them your first name, last name, home address, social security number, ways to contact you, and you're going to click continue. Just let me walk you through this because I'm not going to go through this process in the video, but you're going to go from like personal to regulatory to, hey, some of the features, review and agreements. You'll sign off on that, and then voila, your account will be created. Okay, so now we are logged into my actual Roth IRA account. Some of this stuff is going to be blanked out, obviously, for privacy. So right now we have account summary. It'll show you typically your value. It'll show you your cost basis. So the difference between a value and a cost basis is your cost basis is what you have invested over the years. Your market value is what it's currently worth, and then you'll have some sort of a gain or a loss. Underneath here, you can see I only have one mutual fund. It's a Vanguard Target Retirement Fund. It's a 2055 fund. It'll show you the quantity of shares that you hold. It'll show you the current price that it's trading at. It'll show you the market value, cost basis, all that good stuff, right? However, let's actually go to the process of buying something, and I'll show you how to actually put it inside of your Roth IRA. Okay, so the first step is to actually identify what you want to buy and what you want to put into this Roth IRA. So with Schwab, the easiest way to do that is to go to trade, go to stocks and ETFs, you click on that, and it'll take you to this screen right here. So the thing about this screen is that you need to make sure that if you have multiple accounts at a certain brokerage, you need to be able to pick the right one. So you can see right here, this says Marko's Roth IRA. Okay, so now that I know that I have up to $7,000 for the year that I can contribute to this Roth IRA, I need to figure out portfolio construction. So obviously, I'm not going to take you through what to buy, in this video, but let's just use VTI as an example. Okay, this is just Vanguard's total stock market fund. It's currently trading at $258.36. What you would then do is Again, make sure you're buying this in your Roth and not your taxable. If you have multiple different account types at the same brokerage, you want to choose that you're actually buying it indeed for your Roth. You can then set up a limit order. You can set up a market order. Completely depends on you. If you just want to buy right now with whatever the quote is at, you can then click order type market, and it's going to purchase however many shares you want, again, up to $7,000 based on this dollar amount. So if I wanted to say, hey, I want to invest, let's call it $7,000. I know that I want VTI based on this market price. It's going to tell me I can buy roughly 27 of these shares for a total of $6,975. Okay, so you can do that. So if I were to click, let me just put this to 27 and click review order. This order cannot be placed, which brings me to my next step. This was actually on purpose. You need to actually fund the Roth IRA, okay? So until you actually link your bank account, I have mine linked and I can transfer money. Right now, I have $0 linked to this Roth IRA. So the way that I do it is I just link my savings or checking account. I make that an external account, which you can see right here. This little link, and the different brokerages will have different options on how to do this. And then I would like to transfer cash only. You can transfer over, other Roth IRAs from other brokerages if you're opening up a new one. But again, for the sake of this video, this is your first time opening up a Roth. We're just going to transfer cash. So what you would do then, and I'm not going to click this because it'll show you my bank account. You're going to pick the bank account from which the funds are in. So this could be your savings or checking account. And then you're going to select two, and it's going to be your Roth IRA. At that point, you would click continue, and you would either have those funds available either immediately, depending on the brokerage, or you'd have to wait a couple days for that transfer to happen. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. There's easier and better ways to do it with different brokerages. I'm just showing you Schwab because I actually have a Roth IRA there. But if you got any value out of this video, I would greatly appreciate you clicking the subscribe button, leaving a comment down below, and let me know, what are you actually buying inside your Roth? What is your strategy for that? Hope you got value out of this video. Please share it with a friend. And again, thank you so much for watching.